and saved his life with a groundbreaking innovation. And the future breakthrough that could cure her is closer than ever. Help us turn science fiction into reality and save more lives like hers. Donate to the British Heart Foundation now.
Air fryer. It fries using air.
Britain, what you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. You could get 0% interest for up to 24 months on all your purchases with a Barclaycard Platinum credit card.
You're flying without wings. It fries using air.
Barclaycard. Make money work for you.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And claim a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus worth £259 when you buy today. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charged hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be owed thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
A very good evening. You're watching NDTV. This is India Global. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. Over the course of the next 60 minutes, you're going to get all the views, the news and perspectives that matter to the global Indian. But first up, as always, the headlines. US extradites New York City terror plot suspect from Canada. Pakistani man allegedly plotted the ISIS-inspired attack in Brooklyn. We ask, when will Donald Trump finally act against terror nation Pakistan? Latest in the Musk versus Trump saga, Elon Musk apologizes for the Trump rant after the feisty online feud. Last week, Musk regrets posts about Trump, says went too far. Question is, will the president pick up the olive branch? Protests over immigration raids intensifies. ICE protests now spread coast to coast as unrest in America continues. Shubhanshu Shukla's space flight deferred for rocket repair. The mission to ISS has now been postponed for the 5th time. A chilling terror plot, viewers, that has come to light. In fact, it could have been a reality in a Brooklyn community center, and that could have turned it into a bloodbath. Mohammad Shahzeb Khan, he's a 20-year-old Pakistani national who is also goes by the name Shahzeb Jadoon. What he tried to do was he had an ISIS-style terror plot in mind, which is why he was looking to come from Canada to America. Here is a Pakistani man who wanted to inflict terror in the heart of New York City. He wanted to do that on the 7th of October to coincide with the Hamas attack that took place in Israel. Why is it that Pakistan, which is the fountainhead of terror around the world, looking to inflict, Pakistani terrorists looking to inflict more terror in America? I want to play out this report that tells you why is this so serious, and then we come back and talk more about why is it that Trump is not acting on any of this and instead is choosing to praise the Pakistani leadership.
A storm brews in Washington as yet another Pakistani national is linked to a chilling terror plot on US soil. His name is Mohammad Shahzeb Khan, just 20 years old, an alleged ISIS supporter arrested in Canada and extradited to the United States. Prosecutors say he planned to attack a Jewish community center in New York City, aiming to carry out a mass shooting on October 7th, the anniversary of Hamas's bloody assault on Israel. An undercover federal operation revealed that Khan publicly posted about jihad, and his conversations mostly revolved around support for ISIS and preparations for the attack. But this isn't an isolated case. In May 2011, a Pakistani man was deported in a failed New York bombing case. Just months later, September 2011, another Pakistani was arrested on terror charges. Fast forward to August 2024, yet another Pakistani was held for plotting to kill US politicians. And in March, a man was arrested for smuggling US technology to Pakistan. Instead of sanctions, instead of accountability, the US recently showered the Pakistan government with praise as Trump branded the leadership as strong. That's not all, as Islamabad was awarded key positions at the United Nations Security Council, Vice Chair of the UNSC Counter-Terror Panel being one of them. And what about the money? The IMF, a US-influenced institution, continues to bankroll Pakistan. All while India raises alarm, warning that these funds may be fueling terrorism, not stopping it. The question remains, how many plots, how many arrests, how many near misses before America finally says enough? Bureau Report, NDTV World.
To talk more about this, I've got a voice that understands Pakistan like none other. Former High Commissioner of India to Pakistan, that is Ambassador Ajay Bisaria, who joins me live on the broadcast to decode why is it that Trump is not acting on this. Ambassador Bisaria, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks, Gauri, for having me.
I'm going to first play out the big questions, and then I'm going to ask you all those questions and the significance of all of this. Let's put out some of those big questions that we are asking. First up, why is Donald Trump actually loading Pakistani leadership where there are Pakistani terrorists who are actually being found in his own backyard? Secondly, are Pakistani terror links now a global wake-up call? It's not an India issue, it's a global issue. When will United States stop funding the pariah state? Again and again, all these funds go back to the terror factories. Our defense minister has said it, and we have so many instances of that playing out. Lastly, will Trump remove Pakistan from the key UNSC committees where it's now actually heading some of those anti-terror panels? Some would have laughed had it not been this deeply ironical, would have actually been at the cost of lives. That's how serious this is. And Ambassador Bisaria, let me ask you those questions firstly. First and foremost, the fact that you have Shahzeb Khan, a Pakistani terrorist on American soil, attempting to create mayhem there, should be a wake-up call for Donald Trump. Instead, you have the US president lauding the Pakistani leadership.
Absolutely. I think this is a wake-up call for the world. What it tells you is that the ecosystem of global terrorism is alive and well. And what it also tells you that its epicenter is Pakistan. As your report noted, the roots of a lot of terrorist incidents over the last decades can be traced to Pakistan. And what it also demonstrates and underlines is that this is not just India's problem. Terrorism is the world's problem. And this is what the multiple Indian delegations that fanned across the world were telling the world. And this is almost coming on time to vindicate that view that all this terrorism is not just India's problem. The world is not insulated from this sort of terrorism. You saw the plot that was meant to attack a Jewish center in Brooklyn. It had echoes of what we saw in 26/11 in Mumbai. It had echoes of 9/11. It had echoes of 7th October. So this is a very global kind of diabolical mind that is thinking about these acts, and certainly in multiple ways related to Pakistan.
Ambassador Bisaria, these global terror links that Pakistan has should be a reason to not have this country actually head key UNSC terror panels, isn't it?
Well, I would agree that the optics are terrible. India argued against it, and we would ideally like this not to be the case. But I think we need to factor in that the diplomacy and even the counter-terror diplomacy is a long game. You don't get immediate outcomes, immediate results. While this optics of this kind of thing happening, while a terror plot is unraveled, is terrible. But at the same time, we must understand that the UN is a very process-led body. And every 10 years or so, Pakistan is a non-permanent member of the Security Council. And all the members get a chance to head some or the other committee. So this is not entirely surprising, but certainly the irony of it should be clear to the other members and should be underlined to them.
Indeed, Pakistan took over as the chair of the Taliban Sanctions Committee and vice chair of the UNSC Counter-Terror Panel. Ambassador Bisaria, which brings me to ask you the other fact, the instances of Pakistani involvement in possible terror attacks on American soil. Something as recent as August 2024, where a Pakistani man was held in a possible plot to kill American politicians. All these should add up to Trump administration taking a very stern view of the Pakistani leadership. Instead, there are reports coming in of possible business links, whether it is the crypto links of the Trump family or several others.
Well, it certainly does underline to the Trump administration, but we must remember that the Trump administration or any US administration is a huge machine. The counter-terror folks, Kash Patel and his FBI will be investigating these links. Very important investigation would also be into whether these individuals are lone rangers or they also are connected to Pakistan's ISI, which we know has multiple assets overseas, which it uses for multiple, aims overseas, and also in fighting some proxy terror battles against India. So all this will have to be examined. And what we would also, the Trump administration, I'm sure, would be told by India that it ought to increase the pressure on Pakistan. But we must remember that Pakistan is not completely isolated. Pakistan has some uses for the United States. Even now, it did even more in the past, but after the US withdrew from Afghanistan, less so. But still, the US feels it needs Pakistan as a sort of counter to China. It doesn't want Pakistan to go entirely into the Chinese camp. It also wants some over-the-horizon capability in Afghanistan to deal with terrorism issues there, and Pakistan becomes a useful machine in that. So, we can't wish away the uses that Pakistan has, but what we can do is point to the US administration that it ought to be looking at Pakistan with clear eyes about the dual game Pakistan has played, even with the United States, even in this century.
So very quickly, the last question I want to ask you is something we've spoken about as well in the past, which is the constant supply lines that keep coming to Pakistan in terms of the multilateral funding. Our own defense minister is on record saying that global institutions ought to stop funding Pakistan because money ends up reaching the terror factories. There are 25 financial agreements that Pakistan has with IMF and several more are in the pipeline. Why is it that Trump is not stopping this when such instances like Shahzeb Khan come to light?
Well, I think, again, this is something which is slow. It is a diplomatic process in informing the world about Pakistan's connections to terrorism. We know that Pakistan has been in the IMF not for the first time, but for the 24th time. It's been going on for decades, while terrorism has been going on for decades. So now the global system has a sharp weapon, and that's the Financial Action Task Force. So I think the global diplomacy and India's diplomacy will be about highlighting that the FATF should be the organization that puts Pakistan back in the grey list, given all this mounting evidence of Pakistan's involvement in terrorism, and slowly those conditions should seep into other multilateral bodies like the IMF, the World Bank, the ADB, and therefore make it harder and harder for Pakistan to have this Janus-based approach of, professing one thing but supporting terror in its other face. Mm-hmm. So I think it is a slow diplomacy. We shouldn't be expecting overnight results, but we ought to be chipping at it. India is on the forefront of making this point, but the world needs to wake up and take notice.
Absolutely. The world needs to wake up and take notice. Thank you so much, Ambassador Bisaria, as always, for putting all this in perspective and connecting the dots for our viewers. All right, on that note, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. We come back on the other side, talk more about some of these terror links that go all the way to Islamabad and the options that India has to ensure that it wakes Trump out of his slumber. More on that after this break. Stay with us.
This is Yemen right now. Years of conflict have left the health system on the brink of collapse. Children in Yemen face war, hunger, and disease. Yemen may seem far away, but there is something you can do. To find out how you can help, search UNICEF Yemen online or text Yemen to 84903. £10 could help provide life-saving therapeutic food for a child for a week. I've seen UNICEF's work and the difference your gift can make for children. No child should ever die because they don't have enough of the right food to eat. We cannot stand by and do nothing. So please, search UNICEF Yemen online or text Yemen to 84903 and help save a child's life today.
If you won't do it for you, do it for your grandchild, who's mad you didn't hear her joke.
Book a free hearing test at bootshearingcare.com.
At Vodafone, get the new Google Pixel 9a and save up to £924 when you trade in an eligible phone. Plus, experience the exclusive Circle to Search feature, available only on Android, helping you to search fast and find what you need without switching apps. Go online or in-store today. Ends 12th of June. Vodafone.
Magic family moments deserve the perfect setting. A stylish awning from House is the ideal addition to your outdoor space. Available in a range of colours and finishes, and with the option of integrated lighting and heating, you can enjoy your outdoor space for even longer. Now that is magic. House awnings, made for life.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I'm just getting started. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, You're fully covered from day one, and you're covered for the whole of your life. Unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period.
And no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4474 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Viewers, the question is simple, but the answer isn't. The question is, why is it that the Trump administration refuses to act against Pakistan? When will the Trump administration finally wake up from its slumber when it comes to the terror factories operating out of Pakistan? And in fact, to talk on that and more, I'm joined by General SVP Singh. He's a strategic affairs and defense expert. I'm also going to get John Rosamondo, who is a counter-terrorism analyst as well. General Singh, let me start with you. The evidence is very clear. There are multiple instances of Pakistani terrorists found on American soil attempting to foment terror. But there is no instance of the Trump administration waking up to realize the threat that Pakistan poses, not just to India, but to the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Gauri. Well, you've got a good question to put. Well, why Trump is not acting, why US is not acting, is now a little old story, to say so. You see, United States itself is not free from terrorism, and terrorist attacks are looming large in the United States, waiting for an opportunity to act. And this latest case, which is there, of this Shahzeb Khan, is a case in point. I want to recall that in 2012 also, there was one Farooq Ahmed who wanted to target in the Arlington metro rail line. And he was also nabbed and caught luckily. So this is the second case. Now, why they are not acting, I think we have to go back to the geostrategic and geopolitical setup, the geography of Pakistan, which is the underbelly to Afghanistan and the Central Asian republics. And that matters to United States.
Okay,
also,
I'm going to put that graphic which has those instances of the number of times this has been tried on US soil, several times in 2011, and then of course as recently as to 2024. If we have John, let's also get him on the show. Okay, yes, General Singh, finish your point, yeah.
So I was mentioning the geostrategic and the geopolitical factor. And I go on now next with China. You see, China also matters. Now, China has come in very deep, made Pakistan almost its province. The United States wants to keep a counterbalance. And how it is doing it is, this time round, what is Trump 2.0? More in transactional leadership style. So he has had some transactions with Pakistan, and he's taking them forward. He's also paying them back because Pakistan did help them when Trump was there in 1.0 for the Afghan solution. Right. How it turned out later in the Biden administration is a different story. Next is that Pakistan being a nuclear power, the US is worried about that. They want to keep a control on them.
I understand what you're saying, sir. And I'm going to bring in John on that as well, which is that Pakistan serves some utility for America to ensure it counterbalances American interests in the region. But John, look at the cost at which it is coming. The cost is not the funding that Trump had originally thought of slapping it because he felt this was money down the drain, but because of the fact that Pakistani terror factories are looking to foment terror on American soil. And Shahzeb Khan is an example of just that.
Well, all I have to say is that, Pakistan has played a duplicitous role in American foreign policy for the past, how many decades? I mean, the Pakistan's ISI is a major fomenter of jihadi terrorism around the world, but there's this idea in the U.S. defense establishment, intelligence establishment, that if we work with them, we can make them into a partner. But at what cost? I mean, Faisal Shahzad and other jihadi terrorists causing problems in our sphere. So I think the U.S. needs to reevaluate its work with Pakistan, and I think that there's some rumors about President Trump having some issues with Modi being too nice to the last administration. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of very complicated things going on here, and it's mystifying.
I'll tell you what is complicated. I'm going to put that graph also on our screens in just a bit, which links the Trump family to crypto interests in Pakistan, and that could be another angle to it. And commercial interests do matter, more so in the present administration. But John, the other question I want to ask, you mentioned that ISI is a jihadi army and wants to foment terror. It has happened on multiple occasions in America as well. What is stopping Trump administration from accepting that reality, and instead he is lauding the political leadership of Pakistan? This happened exactly 48 hours back.
Well, I think that the United States wants to be neutral in the conflict between Pakistan and India. I think that the U.S. Doesn't want to be seen as taking sides in the conflict. I think that the jihadi terrorism and the Pakistan support for terrorist activity is extremely disturbing. And, it should be like cut and dry. I mean, Pakistan has harbored al-Qaeda on its soil. And the ISI has, harbored Osama bin Laden and others and continues to foment terrorism. But I'm just sort of like, I can't put a finger on, what is causing this. It should be very cut and dry and making it more complicated than it is.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your insights on this issue. At the end of the day, viewers, when you talk about Pakistan's terror factories, the evidence is there for everyone to see. Those details are right there. There is nothing that the Trump administration is not aware of when it comes to Pakistan's deep terror links. The only thing that is stopping Trump from accepting the terror that arises out of Pakistan is its own myopic view of how Pakistan could counterbalance some of American interests. But the price that they are looking to pay for that is too heavy, too large. The question is simple. Trump needs to wake up from his slumber. If not now, then when? Well, on that note, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. We come back with more on the other side. Stay with us.
Oh, wasn't he lovely? That young man at Avanti Travel Insurance.
Yeah, very.
He was so reassuring. They covered all our medical conditions, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Your diabetes, my dodgy hip.
And the rest.
Even at your age, love. Love?
Oh, great.
Oh, love.
Avanti Travel Insurance cover most pre-existing health conditions for all ages. That's travel reassurance. Call or go online.
I knew I should have got the flamingo.
Someone's happy. Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. 75 ball bingo. Even 90 ball bingo. Fill your bingo boots today. Get that lucky cow feeling at luckycowbingo.com/bingo or download the Lucky Cow Android app from the Play Store.
If your garage looks like this, you need Tougher Man. A leading supplier of shelving for your home or business. Assembly is quick, easy and boltless. Buy 1 bay from just $59.99, or you can get 3 bays from only $119.99, saving you nearly £60. Plus, you get a 5-year Storelex steel guarantee. Order now at tougherman.co.uk.
The Harry's starter set. Get our trim and razor, shave gel and travel cover with 30% off and free delivery. Harry's. Feel good, fellas.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With ultra smart blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New ultra smart blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And claim a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus worth £259 when you buy today. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
Welcome back, viewers. It's now time to focus on the Trump versus Musk saga. Well, there's yet another update. It seems that Musk has extended an olive branch. But has Trump taken it? Does he have to take it? Why is it that Elon Musk feels that he must now ensure that he's able to end this feud that has gone too long and is likely to cost him billions of dollars? In fact, he's also posted on his platform X saying that he regrets some of the posts that have been made about the president last week. He said they went too far. Elon Musk and Trump engaged in a public feud over TV interviews and X posts after the Tesla and SpaceX CEO left his role in the government and criticized the Republican Party's new tax bill proposal. The tensions reached their peak when Musk published a series of incendiary posts linking Trump to the former financier Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide in custody in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Musk offered no evidence to support his claim, nor did he specify which files he was referring to. In a follow-up post, he urged users to mark this post for future, adding that the truth will come out. By Saturday morning last week, both posts had been deleted without any explanation. But the big questions on everyone's mind remains the same. Almost $40 billion hanging in the balance. Is Musk's apology a strategic decision or something more than that? I'm going to put out some of those timeline of exactly how it unfolded and why we need to now decode as to whether this is going to go, as to which way is it now likely to go. Let's get in Robert Moran, who's joining us live to talk more on this. Robert, now we've seen the back and forth that has taken place between Elon Musk and Trump. You know, people would have probably picked up the popcorn to watch it had billions of dollars not been at stake, right? As things unfold right now, how do you see the olive branch that Elon Musk has extended to Trump?
Right. I think this is a classic example of two alpha males who just struggle to be in the ring together, in the same room together. You know, political logic, business logic would suggest that the two would cooperate and work together, that cooperation and working as a team, they would achieve many of the same goals that they have. And they do have a number of shared goals. And so it always struck me as somewhat illogical that these two would end up coming to sort of verbal blows and have a falling out. And perhaps they realize that it's not actually in either of their best interests to continue with this. I think it's not in Musk's business interests, obviously, to continue with this. And so I think they're trying to find a way to reduce the heat and extend an olive branch. And we'll see what happens.
Robert, none of this is a surprise for Elon Musk, right? When he was writing those tweets, putting out those really inflammatory personal attacks, he knew that there will be a blowback. There will be some sort of an impact on this. So are we to believe it took him that long to realize what will be the fallout?
Well, I think you see this generally with people who are in America, we'd say very online, and they're tweeting their entire life and living online. And I think, you know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, people overshare and say things they regret. And it looks like he's trying to walk this back. You know, there's been widespread reporting here in Washington that the White House also reached out to him. White House staff reached out to him and attempted to de-escalate things as well. It's not really in either their best interest to keep doing this. You would think that they would try to go back to cooperation, although it may be too late. But I'll close at this point, which is that in American history, there are a number of political leaders that had enemies that turned enemies into friends. George Washington was famous for this. Abraham Lincoln was famous for this. Great statesmen are able to resolve personal conflicts and turn enemies into friends. And I think, in a way, this is a test for both men. It's also a test for President Trump as well.
To be fair to President Trump, he's actually been quite dignified about this entire fallout, because a lot of the inflammatory comment predominantly came from Elon Musk. What do you think is going on in terms of the calculations that President Trump would be having before he decides the next step here?
Well, I don't think it's in the president's interest to have one of the world's smartest and most accomplished men as an enemy. And I think the issue in part goes back to the fact that Elon Musk does not have a detailed political background, doesn't really understand how politics works at a much deeper level. And so I think he has a more mathematical view of the budget and may not fully understand how far the president can go in Congress to get his budget deal. That sounds like it was really the friction, was the budget deal. And so we'll see. But you're right. The president's comments were actually very measured, remarkably measured for him. And so we'll see what happens. But like I said, it's in neither of their best interests to actually continue this feud.
I'm going to leave it there, Mr. Robert Moran. Thank you so much for joining us live on that story that the world is watching for and looking for as to how this ends. Well, viewers, bottom line on this is that eroding the political capital of a sitting president is no small matter. And as the gravity of his claims, which are still unproven, viewers, fell on him and also his shareholders, Elon Musk decided to first delete the post and then extend an olive branch to Trump. With $113 billion eroded and dim prospects of any future government contracts and subsidies for his many business ventures, Elon Musk is now hoping for more than just a truce. He is hopeful that the president will pardon his tirade. There's a lot riding for Musk, who has seen $34 billion of his personal net worth wiped out in just 5 days. But for Trump, there's nothing to lose. And for once, he is holding all the cards. Turning attention now to what's playing out in America the last 6 days. A high-stakes political gamble playing out in Trump's America. One critics say is less about public safety and beginning to be more and more about power. After a wave of immigration raids swept across Los Angeles last Friday, chaos followed. Mass protests, fiery clashes, and a city that is on the edge. But the real storm came from Washington. President Trump bypassed California's governor to deploy 4,000 National Guard troops and Marines into the city. His message was clear, which is that unrest needs to be controlled one way or the other. Troops now guard federal buildings, but critics say this is something else. This is looking like executive muscle, a federal takeover, if you will, and that's what the Democrats are saying, without permission. Now, let's break down the numbers. There are currently more federal force deployed in Los Angeles than there is in Syria and Iraq combined. But Trump, well, he's going all gas and no brakes, and he's hinting at more such deployments, and analysts warn that Los Angeles may be the first but not the last as to how this will go on in terms of a federal crackdown, even as deployments may continue. But it seems that riots and protests are not ending. This is turning out to be the real face of First World America. And let's get those questions that we are now going to pose to our experts. First up, New York, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, all those places where those protests are unraveling and continuing. What does this mean? Why are Marines now enforcing civil immigration law, as I said, in multiple places? Next, what triggered the military-level federal response by the Trump administration? Are riots the new normal in First World America? Why Trump has deployed more soldiers in Los Angeles than in Syria and Iraq combined. Let's get in two voices. But first up, let's get in David Sofer, who's joining us from Washington. He's a Republican strategist. To put some of this in context, David, I'm sitting here in New Delhi, and what I remember is that when riots used to happen, when protests used to happen, we used to get global lectures about how freedom of speech, right to assembly, right to peaceful protest should all be acknowledged and given, because that is what needs to be given. Suddenly the tables have turned. Do we get to preach now?
So, first of all, thank you very much for having me, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the first responders and the police officers and the small business owners that have been injured, looted, and are really struggling out there in Los Angeles, California. It's a shame what's happening in Los Angeles. They've had a very, very rough time with looting and crime and businesses being shut down. And it's a shame that the local enforcement there could not provide adequate security for the protests that turned into riots in no short order. Nowhere under freedom of speech, which we always advocate for, does that give you the right to throw rocks and projectiles at first responders or the police or the military. Now, Karen Bass is the mayor of LA. She has a history of...
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
She has a history of decriminalizing crime and not having adequate security at these,
okay.
protests
so you
that
are
start
making
out and
okay.
they go into riots. So that's where we are. So it is a good thing, and this should be
you are making a
bipartisan
case
thing that we have public security and safety there to protect American citizens, and also the protesters as well, because the peaceful protesters there aren't safe as well, as you can see on TV.
Okay. Philip, you made a case for right. Okay, David, you made a case for why these Marines and these National Guard and these soldiers should be deployed. But my question is still the same, and it's the simplest question, and I'm going to put that to Philip. Philip, do you think people like us in India, who've long heard long lectures about how we don't have freedom of speech, how we don't have freedom of expression, we don't allow right to peaceful protest, right to peaceful assembly to our people, do we now get to preach, all of you? At least I believe I have earned the right, after hearing earfuls for decades, that we should now be preaching to all of you how protests should now be handled? You're on mute.
Sorry. Yes. I thank you for having me. And I believe one of the things that obviously Americans have been preaching is that we have the right to free speech and we have the right to protest. I think that that's true. And so when you have instances like this where free speech, freedom to protest, those things are being quelled and squashed by military force, I think that in some cases you do have the sort of, I guess, as you would say, the right to preach in that aspect, because we should not be, now, I don't agree that we should be rioting, however, but I do think that using military force to quash protest is the wrong way to go.
Interestingly, I'll tell you, the last time President Trump was in India was in January 2020. And that was the time when in Delhi riots were taking place about a legislation that the Indian Parliament had passed. And because of that, there were riots that followed, and President Trump did make some comments. Given the fact that it was a law passed by the Indian Parliament, one can turn around and say that President Trump probably did not have enough knowledge to speak about it. Either way, when those riots happened, India was within its rights to put and quell those. But somehow the playbook is different, isn't it, David? When President Trump does it in America, it's completely different, isn't it?
It's not different at all. And this has nothing to do with the First Amendment right or peaceful assembly or protest. This has to do with rioting and looting and
that's exactly what I said. There was rioting and looting there as well in Delhi, but somehow President Trump had a different thing to say then. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, so we set in our National Guard as a response, which should be a good thing, and it should be a bipartisan thing. So, this is a good thing. What's happening? It's showing that America is secure, is keeping its citizens safe, and we're not going to tolerate this kind of crime. Let's call it what it is. I mean, there's nothing patriotic about this. This has nothing to do with looting and vandalism and burning and coming after first responders. Has nothing to do with protest or your First Amendment rights. These rioters don't actually have these rights because they're committing felony crimes against first responders and Americans, and it's not safe. So. We are the party of safety, which is a good thing.
Okay. Philip, I want to ask you this, that deployments aside, I've made my point in terms of how things are being viewed differently. But the larger point here is that deployments are continuing and so are the protests. And in fact, the protests and the riots are spreading out. How do you see this now going from here on?
Yeah, well, I just want to also say that I do agree that people should not be placed in danger, but I do want to say that for a lot of people, it seems like when military force is being used to sort of quash freedom of expression, and I think it's also important for people to, especially for your listeners, to understand that Los Angeles is a massive, massive city, and these rioters, as they're are being called, are a very small sort of, it's happening in a very small sort of area. And so when you have these massive deployments, which are taking up more than what I think the Pentagon announced that it'll cost more than $138 million to deploy both the National Guard and the Marines. When you look at those sorts of things, you're not sure if all of this use of force is completely necessary.
Necessary or not, it looks like it's not sufficient for sure at this stage, simply because protests and riots are increasing, aren't they? Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. I'm going to address this story maybe again tomorrow, as it looks like this is far from over. Thank you so much for joining me today on India Global. And on that note, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. We come back with more on the other side. Stay with us.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
Whether you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing, get more time to pay with VeryPay. You can buy now and pay up to 12 months later, and pay no interest, with nothing to pay at checkout. And you can easily keep track of payments in the Very app. More time to pay with VeryPay.
At Vodafone, get the new Google Pixel 9a and save up to £924 when you trade in an eligible phone. Plus, experience the exclusive Circle to Search feature, available only on Android, helping you to search fast and find what you need without switching apps. Go online or in-store today. Ends 12th of June. Vodafone.
This is an urgent appeal from UNICEF UK. Children in Gaza are in critical need of food, water and medicine, and we need your help. UNICEF is working non-stop, providing life-saving medical supplies, clean water and fuel to keep services running. But we can't do it without you. Search UNICEF Gaza online or text Gaza to 84901 and help bring hope for children caught in this devastating crisis.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs and those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you? Life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills, the roof over their heads, childcare costs, and most importantly, your family. Because no one protects more families in the UK than us. Premiums start from £5 a month and they never rise. Plus there's a £100 gift card after you apply. Legal & General. Ensure life goes on.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo, the site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be owed thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
Turn attention now to what's happening in Canada. Well, a diplomatic frost may finally be thawing. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has extended a formal invitation to Prime Minister Modi for the upcoming G7 summit in Alberta. The move signals a dramatic shift from the tense Trudeau years. And that, says one former U.S. defense official, makes all the difference. Michael Rubin, who's a former Pentagon advisor and senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, sees Carney's move as more than symbolic, calling it a return to sanity in foreign affairs. Rubin didn't stop there. He accused Justin Trudeau of inflaming tensions over Khalistan, not out of necessity, but out of political convenience. Now, with Trudeau sidelined and Carney leading the charge, India and Canada may be poised to rebuild. And as Rubin put it, this time the fiction ends and diplomacy begins. Listen in to what he says.
The grievances with regard to Nijar and with regard to the Khalistan movement were exaggerations that Justin Trudeau amplified. Look, Justin Trudeau may have wanted so much to appease radical Sikh extremists in various constituencies that he was willing to take an organized crime hit between various Sikh groups and mafias and blame an outside power for it, rather than to acknowledge the problem and the fault was Canada and Canada's alone. That is Justin Trudeau's problem. But now that Justin Trudeau is gone and likely will never return to power, Prime Minister Carney is taking a sober approach and recognizing that he is not going to be tied to Justin Trudeau's fictions.
Turning attention now to the latest in the US-China trade talks. Donald Trump says that China will supply rare earths upfront to America as part of a trade pact. The relationship between the world's two largest economies is excellent, Trump said in a post on his social media platform, adding that we are getting a total of 55% tariffs and China is getting 10%. He added that magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China, and that the US will be, in turn, making certain concessions, such as allowing Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities. The agreement is subject to final approval, with the two sitting presidents signing it off. Meanwhile, representatives from both sides had today yesterday revealed that a deal had been reached on trade after a second day of high-level talks that are taking place in London. And finally, as a splash of pink in Rajasthan's Sambar Lake has turned into a flamingo paradise once again. Every year, from June to November, thousands of migratory birds descend upon its saline waters, turning the lake bed into a vibrant sanctuary, a stunning reminder of nature's seasonal spectacle. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Global. Thanks so much for watching.
You ever thought about yours?
Funeral? Yeah.
Flowers, service.
Everyone there. The more the merrier.
Even your ex, Mark?
It sounds a bit mad, but I think I want to be buried with these.
Scatter you where?
I think here.
It's your day. You have what you want.
What about you with your ex, Sue? Which one?
Start your plans. Talk to Go Up Funeral Care.
Not again, Leah. We can't watch the game without any walkers.
I got an idea.
Hola, hola, hola.
Do you mind if we watch the game we use?
Pero una cosa, tiene walkers. Hay walkers. You do have some pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs ain't really for me. Is that your thing?
No walker, no egg.
Have you got any Walker's crisps? Anyone? Walkers?
Aquí damos acá.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And claim a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus worth £259 when you buy it today. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
At Currys, there's amazing tech for everyone's needs. Here, a colleague is showing Damien and his guide dog Flynn washing machines.
How about this LG with the large clickable dial?
That'll make things so much easier.
Damien lets out a sigh of relief. So huge, the colleague's face ripples. Flynn sighs too. And a tremendous wind fills the store. Air dryers topple. Trainees dodge flying blenders. Amazing tech for everyone. Currys, beyond expectations.
Massage de brevet dans le boyau. Basin every 20 minutes, s'équiper tout dry now. And voilà.
This gonna taste all right.
And here's the dining room. There's a lovely garden, plenty of room for a trampoline. It's beautiful.
Our relationship with money is formed from a young age.
Nice to meet you both. Well, we've seen a house we really like.
That's why we're here to help you take control and find a mortgage that suits you, whether you're buying, moving, or looking for a better rate. Barclays. Make money work for you.
Panda Bingo is the home of brilliant bingo rooms, great games, and out-of-this-world offers. It's absolute pandemonium at pandabingo.com/bingo.
At Vodafone, get the new Google Pixel 9a and save up to £924 when you trade in an eligible phone. Plus, experience the exclusive Circle to Search feature, available only on Android, helping you to search fast and find what you need without switching apps. Go online or in-store today. Ends 12th of June. Vodafone.
Oh, wasn't he lovely? That young man at Avanti Travel Insurance.
Yeah, very.
He was so reassuring. They covered all our medical conditions, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Your diabetes, my dodgy hip.
And the rest.
Even at your age, love. Love?
Oh, great.
Oh, love.
Avanti Travel Insurance cover most pre-existing health conditions for all ages. That's travel reassurance. Call or go online.
I knew I should have got the flamingo.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to all our viewers. Thanks for tuning into NDTV. This is the Southern View. I'm Deepak Bopana. First up, we take a look at the headlines. Crime accused Sonam Raghuvanshi has been sent to 8-day police custody in the sensational Meghalaya honeymoon murder case. As per sources, Sonam Raghuvanshi has confessed of killing her husband Raja Raghuvanshi during their honeymoon in Meghalaya. Meanwhile, the US makes its love for Pakistan 100% clear. In a shocking support for terroristan, Trump's General Kurilla says we need Pakistan. It's a phenomenal partner in the fight against terror. Well, viewers, now it's been exactly a week since the tragic stampede in Bengaluru. 11 innocent lives were lost and several others were injured. Now the blame game, however, continues. Today in the Karnataka High Court, questions were again asked over the arrest of officials from the RCB and the DNA. The advocates there claimed that their arrest was illegal, even as the Advocate General countered it, blamed the RCB for inviting the public without permissions. Now, these arguments were again countered. The question was asked as to why action wasn't taken against the Chief Minister himself if it was an online invite that actually led to the stampede. Firstly, let's listen in to my colleague Radhika, who brings us up to speed on all the developments in court.
Karnataka High Court has reserved its order in petitions filed by RCB Nikhil Susale as well as DNA. In fact, they had challenged the arrest and criminal proceedings against them in connection to the stampede case. Matters were heard by Karnataka High Court. In fact, today we know for a fact that the state government, the Advocate General representing the state government, presented his arguments as far as this entire incident is concerned. Earlier, of course, the counsel for the petitioners had argued that this case is illegal, malified, and that there's no case made out against these individuals and they're being unfairly targeted, and it's the organizations that have been named in the FIR, and due process was not following as far as arrests are concerned. Today, the Advocate General, in fact, spoke about how RCB was responsible for the event. They had put out that social media post without any permission. They did not get any permission to conduct the event either, and that unauthorized social media posts were put up, which really triggered the crowd, is what the AG has said. Also going on to say that it is the RCB and the BCCI who are in charge of the security as well as crowd management and even ticketing as far as this entire event is concerned. Also, the AG pointed at how all the due process was followed and that the petitioners are not really speaking the truth and are suppressing facts, or going on to say how the inquiry was conducted properly and how the transfer of case was done to the CID, was made to the CID by following all the due protocols, and how arrests were also made as per due process and they were given all the necessary documents in reasonable time. However, the state couldn't give a proper response when the petitioners' counsel pointed at was it the Chief Minister of Karnataka who directed the cops to go ahead and make the arrest without any proper probe being conducted. So at this point, of course, remains to be seen what will happen. The High Court has reserved its order for tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. is when we will get to know whether any of these arrested accused will get some sort of relief. Politically, of course, a lot happening. Mallikarjun Kharge and Chief Minister of Karnataka also, gave their reactions on when they were asked whether the Chief Minister here will resign. They said, by that logic, Yogi Adityanath should resign as a result of COVID deaths and due to Kumbh stampede as well. So therefore, there's no question of resignation is something both the Congress leaders have said.
Well, so tomorrow, of course, is going to be the day to watch out for. What's going to happen? Is there going to be relief for these individuals? Meanwhile, the demands from the BJP has remained constant. They want the resignation of the Chief Minister. They say that he is the one that needs to take the onus. Let's listen to the BJP.
He has to resign. It's all his mistake. They see RCB won the cup. These people, CM and Deputy CM and the ministers focused as if they are won the cup. They took them to the Vidhan Sabha steps. All these things have started from there only, so they should resign.
Meanwhile, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah was not going to buckle. He took the fight back to the opposition today. He's questioning why he must resign when BJP leaders haven't in similar situation. Now, backing him was the AICC president himself.
Congress High Command called CM and DCM to explain about the stampede, which RCB win, and they wanted to celebrate in Bangalore. So immediately, because of their mismanagement, 11 people have died and many have injured. But immediately they diverted the issue.
ಎಷ್ಟು 40-50 ಜನ ಸತ್ತರಲ್ವ, ಆಗ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇವರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೇನ್ರಿ? ಒಂದು ಸೇತುವೆ ಇನಾಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ದಿನನೇ ಬಿದ್ದೋಯ್ತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 140 ಜನ ಸತ್ತರು. ಆಗ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೇನಪ್ಪ? ಗೋಧ್ರಾ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸತ್ತರು? ಆಗ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಗುಜರಾತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ?
ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲು ಹಾಕಿ ಮೈ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಂತೂ ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ಜನ ಹೋದರು, ಲೆಕ್ಕನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಬೈದ್ರು ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಹಣಗಳು ಚೆಲ್ಲುವಾಗ, ಈಗಲ್ಲ ಕೋವಿಡ್ನಾಗೂ ಹಂಗೆ ಈಗೂ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ರಾಜೀನ ಯೋಗಿ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ನೀವಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆಕಸ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಈ ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆದಿದೆ, ಇದು ತಪ್ಪು. ನಮ್ಮವರು ಕ್ಷಮೆನೂ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಯಾರು ಆ ಘಟನೆನ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗಿಯಾಗಿ.
Well, interestingly here, there were also talks that the RCB wants to sell, its stake. This was, of course, dismissed earlier by a statement, but Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister, he wanted to respond because there was a rumor that he was the one who was planning to buy RCB, but he goes on to say that he's in no mood, he's not a madman, and he does not even drink Royal Challenge. Let's listen into this.
I'm not a madman. I'm just a member of the Karnataka Cricket Association from my younger days. That's all. I don't have time. Though I had offers to be a part of the management, I have not gone to any this one. I don't have time for my own education institution. I have resigned and left it to my other family members to take care of it. Why I need RCB? Even I don't drink Royal Challenge also.
So let's open this up to our panel who's joining us today from the BJP. Sudha Halkai is with us. Samrudh Hegde from the Congress is also with us. Sanjay Sahai, former top cop, also joining us on the debate. As we try and decipher a week later, has justice really been done for the victims? Why is the blame game still on? Who is really responsible for this tragedy? Let me take this straight across to Mr. Samrudh Hegde. Samrudh, even in court today, while, the matter was being heard, there still doesn't seem to be clarity. Because the blame game is on. The AG is saying RCB is responsible, DNA is responsible. Their advocates are saying, well, the government did the same thing that the RCB is accused of. What do the victims really look at? Where is the solution? Where is the justice?
Deepak, now we cannot ignore that the government has fixed adequate prima facie causal responsibility. The political advisor to the CM has been discharged. 5 police officials have been suspended. The Intelligence Bureau head has been transferred. There's been action against the event management team and the RCB and the KSCA. Now, before we jump the gun, we have to fully ascertain the facts, for which there is a CID investigation which is ongoing, a judicial inquiry by a one-man commission, and a magisterial inquiry, and the High Court has taken suo motu cognizance and is being apprised of the matter. A status report is going to be placed even before the High Court. Now, today in the court, it is only concerning illegal arrest. there is nothing about giving a clean sheet to them. That has not yet been considered by the court at all. Now the government has, and in no doubt, going beyond its scope to fix accountability. And I understand that no amount of corrective action can bring back the lives of the 11 precious souls. But we have to ensure that we break the cycle, that such incidents never happen in the future, and the government is working in that regard. Standard operating procedures are coming into place. We have set up a committee, and we are ensuring that such crowd management is taken at the highest regard. And I hate to politicize this issue, but according to the BJP, lives have different values in different states. A life under the BJP rule state is different. A life under the Congress rule state is different. So there is no accountability,
Dr. Halkai, would you want to
no
respond to that? Because that was something that the
transparency
AICC president himself said today. The chief minister as well had this counter. What does the BJP have to say?
Deepak, I would like to tell that in the Mahakumbh, whatever the incident, tragic incident had taken place, it was not the lapses of the government, because there were some miscreants who had broken the barricades and they had got one more way, which was not actually in their program, what they sorted out. But here, the Congress government in Karnataka has gone absolutely against the advice of the concerned higher officials when they told that please don't keep this program tomorrow, please keep it on Sunday, because security will not be given and there's going to be huge crowd. The government, the CM, the deputy CM, absolutely they've gone against the advice of the senior officials over here. How do they justify that?
Okay.
And when
this is precisely the point. This is precisely the point. It's the blame game that is on. You're defending, your own chief ministers in your own states. I think Samrudh pointed that out in the beginning. But Samrudh, the entire argument in court, especially how the AG finds the RCB guilty here, is a social media post. I really want to ask both the BJP and the Congress here today, because social media posts came in from, the Congress and the BJP inviting people. So I want both of you all to answer as to if this is the crux, if this is what led to the stampede, then why aren't we seeing arrests from the Congress, from the BJP?
Can I answer this?
Yes.
So firstly, the social media post is a part of it. Let us remember that around 2.5 to 3 lakh people congregated at the place. But the stampede happened where? The stampede happened at the gates of the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Who was in charge of the gates? Who was in charge of manning the gates? Who was in charge of the entry? Who was in charge of ticketing? All this will have to be fixed and ascertained during the inquiry. So for you to come and say that right now we'll have to make heads roll, yes, we have fixed causal responsibility, but we'll have to wait for the final inquiry reports to come out. And in the case of Kumbh Mela, there is no investigation, no data is released, no accountability. Here we have
the data is released, there is accountability. 36 people have
is fixed. We do not know. There is full transparency. Ma'am, let me speak. Ma'am, let me speak. Ma'am, let me speak.
Okay. Ma'am, let's not speak over each other. Kindly hold on, Dr. Halkai. I'll come to you immediately after Mr. Hegde finishes.
And Dr. Sudha Halkai seems to have some information that nobody has, that the police have advised the government not to hold such a rally. And let me remind, where is the information? Where is the information? Where is the document? Place it before the committee. Place it before the committee, ma'am. Ma'am, please don't speak over me. Ma'am, please don't speak over me. Let me make my point. Let me make my point.
Okay, very quickly, I want to go to Mr. Sahai as well. Very quickly, Mr. Hegde, go ahead.
Let me make my point, Dr. Halkai. So what I was saying is that accountability is being fixed and there's no doubt about it. And the chief minister, the deputy chief minister are all looking at it. And to come and say, put a media bite of something which is unrelated about the RCB sale into a stampede case is irresponsible. I don't think that should be done.
Okay, Samrudh, I have little time, so I'm going to have Dr. Halkai respond to you and then I'll go to Mr. Sahai.
See, Deepak, the very fact that these people, they were celebrating the victory when the dead bodies were being counted one after the other. It was more than 2 hours that the tragic incident had taken place, and these people were not bothered about that, and they wanted to take all the credit. And what Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge ji has given a statement, who thinks himself as a veteran politician, I'm so sorry, he's one of the pity politicians, I must say, because he says this incident is accidental. I must say there was a movie called as Accidental Prime Minister. Now I'll tell the Congress party is accidental because when there is a cooker blast, bomb blast, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar says it is an accidental incident. When there is a Rameshwar Cafe blast, he says it is an accidental incident. And when again the Neha Hiremat case, Parameshwar says it is an accidental incident. And this also they say accidental incident. So misfortunate to have such failed government in the entire country. Absolutely, the people of Karnataka are misfortunate. What statement do they keep? Is this an accidental incident when they have taken the
Okay, you're saying that, calling it an accidental incident itself is wrong. They've done it in the past as well. Mr. Sahai, I want to come to you. We've, heard the politicians and the representatives, of course, defend themselves, blame each other. It's been a week. Do you really feel that everything has been done by the government to ensure justice to the victims? How would you do this differently, or do you feel that, they've done it the right way?
See, first things first. What the government has decided is primarily something which has not been based on facts. Now, the spokesperson for the government or for the Congress party has been talking about that it's a causal responsibility. I don't know what this causal responsibility means, number one. The police officers and others who have been arrested and suspended. And what is the inquiry which has been done and what is prima facie which has happened? So for one group of people, you decide on your own, and for the other group of people, you are trying to get the responsibility fixed by way of inquiry. Now, 1 week down the line, are we in any way wiser? Or we have created a smoke screen which is readily available for each of the stakeholders, and primarily one stakeholder, which there no action has been taken to escape. Now it has gone to the High Court. High Court suo moto, both this case has taken a suo moto case, and this the judicial process has started. We have not heard anything with regards to CID what has come out. So we have not moved further. But what is very surprising is the suspension and other action which has been taken, for which I think there is no ground as to stand with. If the things are proved in a manner enough for suspension, I think then any action can be taken.
Right, Mr. Sahai, valid points. We'll, of course, continue to keep this story as a top focus here on NDTV. I'm thanking all our guests for joining us today. We'll have to move on to some more news coming in from Karnataka. The Enforcement Directorate has conducted searches at 8 locations in Karnataka. This is, of course, linked to Congress leader and Ballari Lok Sabha MP E. Tukaram. There were 3 other MLAs as well whose residences and offices were searched. Now, sources are telling us all of these searches are in connection to the Valmiki board or the Valmiki Corporation scam. The raids here were in connection to the embezzlement of funds from the Karnataka Valmiki Scheduled Tribes Development Corporation Limited. The alleged siphoned money was reportedly used to fund Lok Sabha election campaigns by the Congress party and this particular MP.
ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಇಡಿಯವರು ರೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಮ್ದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಉಲ್ಲಂಘನೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ಡಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅಡ್ಡಿಪಡಿಸಲ್ಲ.
Now, while the Chief Minister says he's not going to interfere, he's going to allow the probe agency to, of course, continue their investigation, the Congress, other leaders, at least from the Congress party, have continued to maintain that this is the BJP targeting them. But the BJP says, well, this is not vendetta politics. This is a part of the investigation. Let's listen into the BJP MP, PC Mohan.
The main accused was, this was Valmiki Nigama, and the concerned minister was Nagendra. He himself was involved in this. His name was not in the FIR. So after going through all the Benami accounts, they must have tracked some names, MPs and MLAs, and some of the politicians' name, and some of the officers' name. All concerned people are, houses and officers are getting raided. There is no politics in this. They are involved and they are going. If they are clean, they will come out clean. If they are stuck, they will have to get, they'll be punished.
Now, moving on to some news from neighbouring Telangana here. The former Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao was questioned by the probe panel today that is investigating alleged irregularities in the conception and implementation of the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project, considered to be the brainchild of KCR and the crown jewel of the BRS government, which was in power in the state from 2014 to 2023. My colleague Uma brings us this special report.
Mr. KCR arrived at the BRK Bhavan to face the PC Ghosh Commission of Inquiry. I have with me Mr. K.T. Ramarao, working president of the party. Your leader has been called in by the commission. They're also talking about a vigilance and enforcement, which is recommended prosecution proceedings. And there is a National Dam Safety Authority as well, which is pointing to certain problems with the Kaleshwaram project.
Well, the National Dam Safety Authority seems missing in action. When Morbi Bridge collapses in Gujarat, the National Dam Safety Authority is completely missing in action when Polavaram project, which is being built by the Central Water Commission, had a diaphragm wall collapse, has had the copper dam collapse. More than 2,500 crores of public exchequer money was gone. When Srisailam left bank tunnel collapsed here in Telangana 100 days ago and 8 people died, National Dam Safety Authority is missing. But apparently BJP and Congress, when it suits them, because in Bihar, when bridges keep falling every week, no authority comes forward, no inquiry happens. Only in Telangana, where not a single person died, let me remind you, and not a barrage getting washed away or a bridge getting washed away, but 2 pillars out of 300 have developed cracks. And now that apparently is the largest issue on the planet, and therefore commissions have been ordered. We have no worry, we have no concern whatsoever with respect to what kind of questioning there would be, because the fact is, Uma, in 2014, Telangana was ranked 14 in paddy production in the country. In 2023, Telangana is number 1, surpassing Punjab and Haryana. That is the magic of Kaleshwaram. No matter what Congress says, no matter what BJP says, no matter what anyone says, fact is, Telangana is a reality because of KCR.
Well, viewers, that's all we could pack for you in today's edition of The Southern View. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time. Until then, stay tuned.
Sports passionate city. Interview everyone is talking about.
Unfortunate tragedy that took place in Bengaluru. Your thoughts on that, Rahul bhai?
Yeah, very disappointing. Obviously, very, very sad. Thoughts go out to the people. Very, very, unfortunate.
NDTV exclusive with Rahul Dravid. The interview that has dominated news and sports feeds worldwide.
Predictions in for the upcoming England series.
I'm pretty hopeful that we should have a great series and we should do particularly well.
From the field to your feed, NDTV's exclusive Dravid interview is global news.
During World War II, my great-granddad, George Arthur Roberts, was one of the everyday people who volunteered in the fire service and became heroes by night. He was awarded the British Empire Medal. It was thanks to my great-granddad and his fellow volunteers that there was a city to wake up to.
Discover the untold stories of World War II in millions of records and bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
One moment you're queuing up for stamps and the next you're chucking. Seriously? You're a millionaire. Get yourself in the draw. Lotto, will you be the next millionaire?
Magic family moments deserve the perfect setting. A stylish awning from House is the ideal addition to your outdoor space. Available in a range of colours and finishes, and with the option of integrated lighting and heating, you can enjoy your outdoor space for even longer. Now that is magic. House awnings, made for life.
Air fryer. It fries using air.
Everybody. Britain, what you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. You could get 0% interest for up to 24 months on all your purchases with a Barclaycard Platinum credit card.
You're flying without wind. It fries using air.
Barclaycard. Make money work for you.
The UK's first human heart transplant has been completed, supported by the British Heart Foundation.
We were a noisy generation, but it might be something quiet we do that becomes our greatest legacy.
Leave a gift in your will to the British Heart Foundation and fund groundbreaking research that could help save millions of lives. Search BHF Wills.
Okay, mate, gotta go. I'm off to a celebrity dinner party. Hello, it's Robbie Williams. I brought something delicious. Felix!
Cats do what they want when they want to. Don't feel any need to impress you. Live like your Felix. It's great to be a cat.
Purina.
It's pandemonium, it's pandalicious, it's fantastic. It's the world of Panda Bingo.
I like to make a cup of tea, get settled on the sofa and play Panda Bingo. It's like a little bit of me time. Well, me and the pandas.
Whether I'm out and about on my mobile or just at home on the laptop, I can play my favourite Panda Bingo games anytime, anywhere. I just love it.
Brilliant bingo rooms, great games, out of this world offers. Join today at pandabingo.com/bingo.
Hello and welcome. We have a very special guest with us here today on the NDTV network for an exclusive interview. It's the second lady of the United States, Miss Usha Vance. Miss Vance, NDTV की दर्शकों की तरफ से आपको नमस्कार. You know, there's a lot of curiosity about what's going on in your kitchen. Everyone is most interested because the Vice President himself has said that he was a meat and potatoes man until he met you, and then your mother taught him how to cook. So now everyone wants to know, what is it that he cooks for you?
Well, he's very experimental. He'll try anything. So he's done everything from chana masala to, has been making a specialty of desserts recently. So our children especially enjoy that.
In your home, what does a traditional Indian meal look like?
Well, my family is from Andhra Pradesh. And
they have the most amazing cuisine.
Yes, I think so. Although we've been enjoying the food of other areas as well while we're here. So my mother and grandmother are both excellent cooks, and my father too actually makes very good dosa, pasaratu, things like that. So, I mean, I think it looks exactly like what you might imagine. You know, sometimes it's very simple and it's sambar and rice and some sort of kura. Sometimes it's a little more complicated, and my mom pulls out all the stops and makes pulao or something, or a few dishes. But it's a vegetarian household, so that usually defines it.
And the Andhra cuisine is famous for its chutneys. Do you manage to get all the ingredients together there?
I am not a preparer of chutneys, but my grandmother makes wonderful chutneys, and I think she manages to figure it all out. She gets the ingredients at the Indian stores near us.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, there was something else that I was reading about you, and the fact that at your wedding, you had a traditional Indian ceremony and you also had a traditional American ceremony. And it's a beautiful metaphor for the way people across the globe are coming together culturally. And was that very important to you?
Well, it was very important. We got married in Kentucky, which is the state where my husband's family was from, but we had so many people fly from all over the world, including India. And so both our guest list and the ceremonies were sort of a representation of our very different backgrounds coming together. And you know, my parents, of course, were married in a traditional Hindu ceremony. And so when I imagined weddings and what that might look like, I imagined the pictures that I'd seen of them.
But what did you and the Vice President like, especially at the Amer Fort?
Well, I mean, obviously the architecture is spectacular, and we really enjoyed seeing the mix of cultures that were brought in when they were building it in the first instance. So you see the Persian influence, and of course you see elements of Hinduism with the lotus references, and it was just a really interesting representation of the position that the Mughal Empire had at the time and the way that they were sort of projecting themselves. So it was a fascinating study in history.
Everybody, you're watching NDTV as we continue tracking the ghastly murder of Raja Raghuvanshi in Meghalaya. Fresh details have emerged in this case, the murder of an Indore-based businessman who was allegedly killed by his own wife, Sonam Raghuvanshi. Now, this is the story of a honeymoon in the hills that turned into a chilling plot of betrayal and murder. Raja Raghuvanshi's decomposed body was found in a gorge in Meghalaya, and now his wife, Sonam, has confessed to masterminding the killing, allegedly along with 3 others. That's the latest we know from police sources.
Sonam's brother Govind has said no apology is enough for a family that has lost a member. Sonam was educated, brought up in a conservative family. She dreamt of having a corporate life, but as life would have it, she was confined to her family business, and then a traditional arranged marriage followed. From wedding vows to a brutal end in less than 2 weeks, the case has gripped the nation with its shocking twists and calculated cruelty. It would have been a month to their wedding anniversary today, a day of celebrations. One of them is dead and the other one is an accused who has now confessed to the crime. What really drove a young bride to plan her husband's murder with such cold precision, and who else knew about this? That's what we discuss in the course of the next 23 minutes. We have with us Arpit Chauhan. He is the cousin of the victim Raja Raghuvanshi. Thank you, Ankit, हमसे बात करने के लिए. मेरा पहला सवाल, आई नो दिस इज़ अ डिफ़िकल्ट टाइम फॉर द फैमिली. आज ही एक अपडेट आया है कि सोनम ने कन्फेस किया है कि वो इस क्राइम का हिस्सा थी. आप सब शुरू से जस्टिस की बात कर रहे थे. आपको क्या लगता है कि आज के बाद क्या जस्टिस की उम्मीद है?
हाँ दीदी, ये जानकारी मिली है हमें मीडिया के माध्यम से, और वहाँ पुलिस आला अधिकारी ने कहा है कि सोनम ने कन्फेस किया है कि मेरी प्लानिंग थी और मैंने ही सब कुछ करवाया है. तो ये अच्छी बात है कि उसने ये करने के बाद भी कन्विंस कर लिया, मतलब अपने आप से मान लिया कि ये सब मैंने करवाया है.
अर्पित जी, आप जो हैं विक्टिम के जो हैं कज़न हैं, और आप थोड़ा सा हमें राजा रघुवंशी के बारे में बता सकते हैं. कैसे व्यक्ति थे, क्या करना उनको पसंद था?
मैडम जी, राजा जो व्यक्ति था ना, एकदम हम कहते ना मासूम, शाय, मतलब उनको बाहरी दुनिया से कोई मतलब नहीं, क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं, बस वो अपने में परिवार में मस्त, दोस्तों में मस्त, हंसना, मिलनसार और मस्ती करना, नोटी टाइप, ऐसा मतलब व्यवहार था राजा का. और घूमना भी पसंद था राजा को, ट्रेकिंग टाइप से ऐसा.
अर्पित जी, सोनम रघुवंशी से भी तो आपकी मुलाकात हुई होगी, शादी का माहौल था. उनके बारे में आपको क्या याद है? क्या कभी आपको ऐसा लगा कि उनके दिमाग में कुछ और चल रहा था?
नहीं, ऐसा कभी फील नहीं हुआ. सोनम से मैं शादी के पहले 2 बार मिला हूँ. इवन मैं और राजा हम दोनों गए थे. जब शादी की जो मेरे भाई ने शेरवानी पहनी है ना, आपने फोटो देखे होंगे, वो हम तीनों चारों ने मिलके पसंद की है. मैं खुद राजा के साथ था, सोनम थी, और जब भी ऐसा नहीं लगा, वो बहुत हंसमुख, मिलना जुलना, बात करना, ऐसा ऐसा कभी इंटेंशन फील नहीं हुआ कि सोनम दिख कुछ रही है और होगी कुछ. ऐसा कभी फील नहीं हुआ मुझे, बिल्कुल.
अच्छा, तो आपको कभी फील ही नहीं हुआ कि उनके दिमाग में कुछ और चल रहा था? लेकिन सगाई से शादी तक का जो टाइम था, फरवरी से लेके मई तक, इस दौरान आपकी जब बात होती थी आपके भाई, आपके कज़न से, तो वो क्या आपको बताते थे? क्या वो खुश थे? क्या कभी उनको ऐसा लगा कि सोनम से उनकी बात ठीक से हो नहीं पा रही है, कि वो पूरी तरह से शादी में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है? क्या कभी आपको ऐसा लगा कि उन पे भी कोई दबाव था?
10 फरवरी 2025 को इन दोनों की सगाई हुई थी. उनके घर पे हम लोग गए थे, परिवार के लोग गए थे. वहां पर रिंग सेरेमनी नहीं थी, रोका था, मतलब फाइनल करना थी, ये रिश्ता पक्का हुआ है. और वहीं पे बैठ के उनकी पंडित जी ने डेट निकाली थी 11 मई 2025 की. तो ठीक है, हमने भी उसमें एग्री किया कि वो जल्दी वाला था, लेकिन ठीक है, करना था. और ऐसा कभी कुछ फील नहीं हुआ कि ऐसा कुछ होने वाला है. और शादी सगाई के बाद राजा ने कई बार फोन भी लगाया बात करने के लिए. होता है ना कि रिश्ता पक्का होता है तो इंसान खुश होता है कि मेरे जीवन में कोई नया इंसान जुड़ा हुआ है इतने टाइम से. तो फोन लगाना, हाय हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग टाइप से, कि क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या दिनचर्या है और आपकी प्लानिंग क्या है, शादी में हमें क्या पहनना है क्या नहीं पहनना है, महिला संगीत, हल्दी, सगाई, ये सब ड्रेसअप के बारे में बातचीत करना. तो उनका ऐसा कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं मिलता बराबर. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल राजा ने सुबह 11 बजे फोन लगाया तो रिस्पॉन्स नहीं, शाम को फोन आना कि हाँ बोलो क्या बात है, आपने फोन लगाया था. तो राजा बोलते इतने फोन लगाया सुबह, अब रिस्पॉन्स? तो बोले मैं काम में व्यस्त थी. राजा ने शिकायत भी की थी कम से भी, घर पे भी, कि बात करना चाहता हूँ, बात नहीं हो पाती है. तो समझा है कि ठीक है, ये हम ये समझे थे कि होता है कभी सभी, कोई लड़की ऐसी होती है ना कि एकदम से इंसान जीवन में नया आया है, तो तब समझ सकते हैं कि मतलब मानवता के नाते हम लोग भी, नेचर होता है इंसान का. तो हमें ऐसा लगा कैजुअल कि ठीक है, लड़की शायद एकदम से घुल मिल नहीं पा रही है, ऐसा अचानक से इंसान नया आया है तो कैसे बात करना क्या नहीं. बाकी ये नहीं पता था कि उसका इंटेंशन क्या था, बात क्यों नहीं करना थी.
राइट. अर्पित जी, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात आपने बताई है कि राजा को भी कभी कभी ऐसा लगा था कि सोनम बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ोन पर अवेलेबल नहीं थी उनसे बात करने के लिए। आजकल हम ये भी देखते हैं कि अरेंज मैरिजेस में भी फैमिलीज इंसिस्ट करती हैं कि कपल्स मिले एक दूसरे को ताकि अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़े। क्या सोनम और राजा की मुलाकात होती थी शादी के पहले, सगाई के बाद? और जब क्या इसके बारे में आपकी कज़िन ने आपसे कुछ बताया था? क्या कभी उनको ऐसा लगा था कि जब वो मिलते थे तब क्या सोनम ने भी उनसे कोई बात शेयर की थी?
सगाई के बाद शादी के बीच में 2 ढाई महीने का वक्त था। राजा ने कहा भी, राजा भाई को मूवी का भी शौक है, हम लोग मतलब मूवी जाते हैं देखने, महीने में 1-2 मूवी तो हमारा कंपलसरी फिक्स था, मतलब देखना इस टाइप से। तो राजा ने कहा मूवी लगी थी, मूवी का नाम ध्यान नहीं आ रहा मुझे, कि मैं इस बार सोनम के साथ जाता हूँ। मैंने अच्छी बात है, नया रिश्ता है, आप सोनम के साथ जाइए मूवी देखने। तो सोनम को मूवी का बोला है कि सोनम मूवी चलते हैं, तो बोले नहीं, मैं मम्मी पापा अलाउ नहीं करते, मैं नहीं जा सकती हूँ अकेले, इस टाइप से। तो राजा ने कहा ठीक है, किसी और को भी ले लो साथ में। बोले नहीं, अलाउ नहीं होगा ऐसा कुछ करके। उसने मना कर दिया मूवी देखने से भी, कि इसे नहीं जा सकते। मिलना बहुत कम हुआ, मतलब राजा सोनम से ऐसे अकेले नहीं मिल पाए। या तो हम मार्केट गए शॉपिंग के लिए तब मिल पाए, ऐसे नहीं मिल पाए।
तो 2 बार जब आप शॉपिंग पे गए थे तभी तभी जो है राजा और सोनम एक दूसरे से मिल पाए। ये बताइए कि रिश्ता जो है कैसे तय हुआ था? क्या राजा के ऊपर भी परिवार का दबाव था कि अरेंज मैरिज करना है और इसी लड़की से शादी करनी है?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, हम जब इन सब चीजों को देखकर फ्लैशबैक में जा रहे हैं, हम परिवार एक एक मेंबर, तो हमें लग रहा है कि लड़की के मन में पहले से ही सब कुछ माइंड सेट था कि मुझे क्या करना क्या नहीं करना है।
अच्छा। और शादी के दौरान जो टाइम था, 2-3 दिन जो थे, आपको लगा कि कोई डिफरेंस दिखाई दे रहा है? क्योंकि प्लानिंग तो ऐसे लग रहा है इन्वेस्टिगेशन से कि तब से शायद शुरू हो गई थी। सोनम की फैमिली का कॉन्डक्ट कैसा था? क्या वो भी चिंतित थे सोनम को लेकर?
नहीं, ऐसा राजा के ऊपर कोई दबाव नहीं था, कोई प्रभाव नहीं था। हमारी जो फैमिली है ना, वो फ्रेंडली है। फ्रेंडली इन द सेंस कि ऐसा बोलते हैं कि बेटा आप देख लो, लड़की आपको अच्छी लगे, आपको शादी करना है, जीवन में आपको रहना है। तो हमारे यहाँ ऐसा दबाव नहीं है कि हम जो बोलेंगे वही करना है। बस ये था कि हाँ, समाज में लड़की रघुवंशी रिश्ते एक एप्लीकेशन है, जिसमें रघुवंशी जो परिवार के लोग हैं वो लड़की लड़की ढूंढते हैं, आपस में रिश्ते तय करते हैं। तो उस एप्लीकेशन के माध्यम से राजा भाई ने लड़की को ढूंढा, सबको दिखाया, देखा, बोला हाँ ठीक है। उन लोगों ने भी पसंद किया राजा भाई को, वो भी 2 बार घर आए, हम लोग भी उनके घर गए सारी बातें करने। तो इस प्रकार से रिश्ता तय हुआ था ये।
अच्छा। तो सोनम की फैमिली से भी आपको कभी लगा नहीं कि वो चिंतित थे सोनम को लेकर? और मेघालय की जब बात करते थे तो इसकी प्लानिंग किसने की थी? क्या आपको इसके बारे में पता था?
इंटेंशन बिल्कुल नहीं लगा कि सोनम दबाव में है या परिवार ने दबाव बनाया है। ऐसा मतलब ओरा ऐसा बना हुआ था कि सब खुश लग रहे थे, सब एंड तक ओरा ऐसा बना था, बिल्कुल लगा नहीं हमें। ये सब घटना घटित हुई तब हमें लग रहा है फ्लैशबैक में जाके कि ये सब कुछ पहले से तय था सोनम की तरफ से।
राइट। और मेघालय की जब बात करते हैं तब आपको क्या लगा था कि किसका प्लान था? और अभी आपके क्या डिमांड्स हैं सर, जबकि सोनम ने पुलिस सोर्सेज के हिसाब से कन्फेस भी किया है इस क्राइम को लेकर?
हाँ, बात हुई थी ना शादी के पहले, जैसे कि राजा कजिन ब्रदर हैं, तो एक दोस्ती के नाते भी हम लोग हंसी मजाक करते हैं, हर व्यक्ति करता है कि राजा आपकी शादी होने वाली है, कहाँ जाओगे, प्लान टाइप से। तो बोले, हम लोग ने 4-5 दोस्तों ने मिलकर बात भी करी थी ऐसे कि कहाँ जाना चाहिए कहाँ नहीं। तो राजा ने पहले तो कश्मीर जाने का प्लान था, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली आपको पता है वहाँ एक पुलवामा अटैक हुआ, तो वो जगह कैंसिल की। फिर ये था कि ठीक है, अभी शादी हुई है, थोड़ा टाइम बाद रुक के जाएंगे। शादी को थोड़ा सा परिवार में लोगों से मिलना जुलना, नए नए लोग आएंगे घर पे मिलने के लिए बहू से। तो अचानक से ही सोनम जब 12 तारीख को घर आई और 15 के आसपास सोनम जब मायके गई, है ना, उसके बाद उन्होंने सडनली प्लान कर लिया कि हमें मेघालय जाना है। राजा भाई ने 1 दिन पहले मुझे कहा कि मैं मेघालय जा रहा हूँ, दर्शन करना है और वहाँ हनीमून के लिए। तो ठीक है, अब उन्होंने सडनली टिकट भी बुक कर दी सोनम ने, और सेंड कर दी कि हम दोनों की फ्लाइट की टिकट है।
तो मेघालय जाने की प्लानिंग सोनम की थी और बहुत जल्द उन्होंने ये प्लान किया था। अपने मायके गई थी शादी के बाद और उन्होंने आके कहा था कि सिर्फ 2 दिन का टाइम दिया था और राजा रघुवंशी इस बात पर जो है वो मान गए थे। सर ये बताइए कि आपके परिवार ने बहुत कुछ झेला है, ये बहुत बड़ा झटका है, बहुत बड़ा हादसा हुआ है आप लोगों के साथ। अभी आपको क्या लगता है कि आपके क्या सजेशंस हैं, थॉट्स हैं, डिमांड्स हैं? आपको क्या लगता है कि सोसाइटी को, पुलिस को किस तरह का बर्ताव जो है आजमाना चाहिए ताकि ऐसे क्राइम्स ना हो?
हम ये चाहते हैं कि जो भी व्यक्ति मेरे छोटे भाई राजा की हत्या में शामिल है, इन लोगों ने जघन्य हत्या की है। इस प्रकार से तो कोई इंसान नहीं करता है। इन सबको फांसी से बदतर सजा हो, वो कानून के द्वारा मिले। जिससे कि मैं आपके चैनल से एक अपील करना चाहता हूँ भारतीय समाज को, युवाओं को जो इस उम्र में है, उनसे मैं अपील ये करना चाहता हूँ कि आपके आसपास ऐसे लोग हैं इस प्रवृत्ति के जो किसी और से प्रेम करते हैं और परिवार के दबाव में किसी और से विवाह कर लेते हैं, तो कृपया करके उन्हें रोकें, जिससे कि भविष्य में ऐसी कोई सोनम ना आए, न ऐसा कोई राजा महाराजा आए। हम ये प्रार्थना करते हैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से। और इन लोगों को इतनी बदतर सजा मिलना चाहिए जिससे कि भारत के इतिहास में ऐसा कोई करने के पहले 10 बार सोचे।
Right. Thank you, Arpit ji, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए. That was the victim's cousin, Arpit Chauhan, joining us on NDTV. Let me also now tell you a little bit about the characters, the people involved in this bizarre episode and what really made them do what they did. Now, the accused here, Sonam Raghuvanshi, was once a bright student from Siddhi in Madhya Pradesh. She had dreams of getting an MBA and building a career. She was brought up in a conservative family and she led a regimented lifestyle. But she was also someone who helped her father expand her plywood business because her family preferred her working within the confines of their business, not outside. Eventually, they found a match for her, Raja Raghuvanshi, a businessman from Indore. The marriage happened through a community portal, and because she was Manglik, the family also wanted a groom who was Manglik too. Now, Sonam played the role of a quiet, dutiful daughter-in-law who would keep fast for her fiancé and also diligently participated in all the shopping activities in the run-up to her wedding. They didn't meet that often, that is Raja and Sonam, but they always met as part of family get-togethers. And let's also talk a little bit about Raja now, the victim, Raja Raghuvanshi, 29-year-old husband of Sonam Raghuvanshi, someone whose murder was planned by his own wife, his newly wedded wife. He was the youngest of 3 brothers in a business family from Indore in Madhya Pradesh. He was part of Raghuvanshi Transport, a business providing buses to educational institutions. Described by family and friends as quiet, sincere, deeply rooted in traditional values, he was not in a rush to marry and he trusted those who are close to him. He was someone who loved watching movies and he was looking forward to a life with Sonam. Now, the couple, like I said, didn't meet much even after the engagement, but Raja would often call Sonam to talk to her. Those close to him say that he was smitten and he was fulfilling her wishes and even agreeing to a one-way honeymoon trip to Meghalaya. And this was despite his mother's reluctance. And there's a third character in the story, Raja Kushwaha, a billing executive who once worked in Sonam's father's plywood factory. Raj was from the same Siddhi neighborhood as Sonam, and their connection reportedly began with routine business interactions. Sonam's family members say that Raj was like a brother to Sonam, but there are also reports that suggest that Raj and Sonam could have had a relationship that Sonam's family was not supportive of. There's no clarity on that yet. But what we know so far is that Raj stayed behind in Indore while the couple traveled to Meghalaya, and he was tracking their movements and allegedly coordinating with hired killers remotely. Police believe that he was instrumental in planning this murder, transferring money to the killers and also staying in touch with Sonam throughout the crime and also after that. So was Sonam a victim of suppressed resentment, societal pressure, or did she knowingly script this cold-blooded betrayal from the start? Crime is a crime, and that is what we discussed today. Let me bring in my guest now, Dr. Ranjana Kumari, Director of CSR Chairperson, also Women Power Connect. We also have Dr. Deepak Raheja. He's a Director and Chief Psychiatrist at Hope Care India. We have Ambar Zaidi, who's a social activist, and we have Dr. Shailendra Srivastav. He's a former DGP of Madhya Pradesh. Thank you all of you for joining me on NDTV. Ms. Zaidi, to you first. A crime is a crime. I know everything is being looked at from the gendered lens. Now, there's far more attention on crimes committed by women, which I think is really unfair. But does this case also reflect a deeper sense of, in some ways, suppressed agency amongst women in traditional households? Or do you see this purely as an individual act of cruelty?
See, there are multiple, I think we have to understand this particular case in layers, and there could be many reasons behind such mindset and the personality Sonam has. We can also say that she might have a split personality disorder because she was, planning the wedding also, and on the other hand, she was plotting the murder of her would-be husband in future, the Raja Raghuvanshi. According to police, Sonam, shortly after marrying the man chosen by her family, Raja Raghuvanshi, became involved in a conspiracy that led to her husband's untimely and suspicious death. And we need to understand the motive behind this entire the episode we are discussing today. The clandestine relationship with one of her own laborer, Raj Kushwaha, a man who was earning merely 15,000 to 20,000 a month. And the relationship she kept under wraps that has, raised numerous questions, not only about Sonam's intention, but also the man's role in the crime. Was he, willing accomplice or just a pawn in a larger or more sinister scheme? Because, right. We could, find out later on in the investigation. Also, the investigators, they are not ruling out the motive, a more complex motive, we should say, according to the some sources, that the man might not be the ultimate goal of her affection. There could be some
there
other
are many
man.
layers to this. Dr. Ranjana Kumari, Amber is pointing out to something that we've been talking about. There are very different layers to people's personalities. But what warning signs should families or partners look out for when a person appears, in some ways subdued or emotionally distant during major life events like marriage? Because, you heard what the cousin of this victim is talking about, that she would not receive calls. She would be very late in responding to calls. And, she would not go with him for movies. And she would say that, I have a very busy day and my family won't allow this. What are the warning signs that men or women need to look out for, especially when their partner seems a little distant?
Well, Sudha, the most important part of this whole story, which is unfolding in a way the media is kind of, already in a very, very strong way blaming her for what happened. But we should look at, certainly crime is a crime, and you very nicely said that. But most important thing to look at it, what really happened to her life. She was really, in my opinion, like many, many girls we know who come to us after wedding, the crisis that starts after wedding. In this extreme case, she got him murdered, of course, along with her boyfriend or whatever her. So I think important thing is that she was torn between the pressure of the family to get married to a decent marriage, and also someone who was the employee of the same family's company and who she was in love with. I think this is what is lack of agency of girls, and the marriage system in India is doing to a lot of girls. Because, in our marriage system, there is absolutely no question of you denying the choice that the family makes for you. And even if you can and you will deny, and in this case, she had the pressure of the boyfriend on the other side. So I feel that, of course, what she has done is absolutely unthinkable, is absolutely, we should not tolerate such things in our society, because a lot of these things will send message that the girls who are getting married are planning murder of her own husband whom she got married with. I think these are the things which will send very, very strong signals in the society like India. But another signal which should be sent is that you have to give agency to the girls. They must be able to decide about their own life. Right. They should be able to choose a man that they want to marry. And in 90% of the cases, Indian families do not even till date allow that.
Absolutely. That's very well said. Dr. Raheja, very important points that both our female panelists have pointed out. Ms. Zaidi pointed out this one thing about a woman planning the murder of her husband, and also taking part in all activities related to marriage, shopping. What kind of psychological factors drive these kind of crimes is what I would like to understand.
So I would think there's possibly even a higher level of manipulation, because it doesn't seem from the facts that have emerged that she was coerced into this marriage and then she resorted to the turn of events as they happened. It's possibly that she was instrumental in participating in making this marriage happen, which in her mind she had already begun to plot that it might be easier for the family to accept the lover if she became a widow. So I agree with Dr. Anjana when she says that there needs to be more communication. We need to respect the choices, because had she had the faith that if she spoke about the lover and he'd be he'd be accepted by the family, she wouldn't have resorted. But the fact that she's participating in all the rituals, she's playing a character where she's believing that everything is going to fall exactly in place. So there is no room that both of them, who possibly the principal plotters, believed that things could go wrong. Now, in that shared madness, who was influencing who more is difficult to say, but they possibly were living a dream where they imagined their life, believing that everything was just, the way she's fasting for the family and the husband, the way she participates in the wedding, but also the red flags, as you had also mentioned, were so visible because her heart was never in the marriage. This was a big plot. Whether she was instrumental in creating that plot or was she being coerced in the marriage, but the red flags were very visible, and somebody needed to notice that. And unfortunately, this unassuming, innocent man who was weaving his life with his beloved, with his wife, gets slaughtered in the manner that he does. It is very sad that we need to pick up those. And if you do a more deeper retrospective analysis of the personality of Sonam, they might not be criminal background, but the criminal mentality might be more deeper holes that we may be able to discover, because it is not impromptu that somebody agrees to participate in a crime where you are cold-bloodedly planning and conceiving to kill somebody.
That's very important. It's easy to actually, look at this as just a simple crime, but like our panelists have also been talking about, that there are multiple layers to this which need to be also understood. Mr. Srivastava, how do law enforcement agencies decide premeditation versus spontaneous crimes, like Dr. Raheja was also talking about? There's a lot of discussion about how this crime was planned and how there was brutal planning and micromanagement that happened. But how is it even possible for police, across states to keep a check on these kind of crimes?
This is a very planned murder case. There are two things. One is the planned, other one is the sudden grave provocation. In this case, it is a criminal conspiracy designed much before the actual crime was committed. There are two things important. The couple belonged to Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Honorable Chief Minister holds the home portfolio and is the in-charge minister of Indore also. Indore people have a lot of vibrancy. They have a lot of civic understanding. They know their rights, and you know that Indore is #1 city as far as cleanliness is concerned. They take pride in being Indori. They have a different ecosystem. With due respect to other districts also, other places also, but Indoris, they take a lot of pride in being Indori. They mounted a lot of pressure on police. Honorable Chief Minister spoke to Union Home Minister and he wanted the case to be investigated by the CBI. Meghalaya being a well-known tourist destination, it was matter of pride of Meghalaya also. So government also immediately to protect its image, protect its sanctity, because they have responsible tourism mission going on. So they also acted very swiftly. There was seamless cooperation between Madhya Pradesh police and Meghalaya police. And that is why you have seen this investigation.
The diligence of all these police teams also showed results completely out of time. Thank you, all of you, for joining me on this broadcast. Sorry, Mr. Srivastava, I had to cut you short. We have to wrap up now. As the investigation unfolds, what remains clearly is one chilling question. Was this a tale of emotional suffocation that erupted into violence, or the mask of tradition hiding something that is far more sinister?